Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Speed Report here on Twitch Monster 27 and on Stream Monster 27. We hope everyone is having a great Saturday. No doubt, many checking out the race at Charlotte, the Xfinity race at Charlotte live right now. We're going to talk about that here in a minute, but just to make known, of course, of everything, of course, please, if you haven't already, subscribe to Twitch Monster 27. Hit that follow button, as well as Stream Monster 27 to check reruns of the Speed Report, as well as the races for the BRL series, as well as other cool streams right there on YouTube. It has been an eventful season, to say the least, so far. Once again, we'll post the points on the screen there that you'll see. And of course, it is the points for the BRL series that many that tune in, as well as those have run in the past. And so far, we are in the second round, the round of 12, preparing for the elimination race. So that's what we want to talk about. This stream was set to air on Thursday night. My apologies. I was under the weather. Very underneath the weather. So there was no way I was going to be able to get that stream done. But I said I wanted to get a stream done so that you guys can see, get some of the stream in and know what's going on. So with the Speed Report, if anyone views that wants to join me here on the Speed Report, shoot me an invite. We'll definitely get you in to the Speed Report in here in the studio. So if anytime you guys want to join and join into the conversation, definitely well appreciated on the Speed Reports. I always love having people in that we can debate about not only league topics, but topics in real world things as well. Also, if you're interested in joining the BRL series, please message me on Xbox, Sam Cook 2728785, or on Twitter, Sam Cook and a bunch of numbers, of course, and we can make that happen. As you can see, there are several on the roster. You can be a part of that as well. And again, to my viewers, if anytime you want to jump in and hop in there and join me up here in the booth, just message me and we will make that happen ASAP. Because as usual, we love to have the opportunity to debate and chat over not only sports stuff, league stuff, but real life stuff as well. Without further ado, let's get started. First, let's talk about Little Happy, because he's been putting on a show right here. He is sitting, fourth, fifth in points, but he is at super advanced, as he is just taken the series by storm with his wins. Last season held the record for the most wins in a season for our inaugural season, and he has already eclipsed that with his win that was there at Bernice Out. So congratulations to him. And what up, Demon, in the chat? What's up? By the way, the chat is open, so feel free to leave a comment in the chat. What's up, Demon? How you doing, bud? Ready for the night? And who is first? Let's talk about that. Ghost Train in first place, and these two are part of the same team. So Ghost Train and Happy are part of 484 Racing, and they have honestly in the BRL series taken the league by storm. Ghost Train 2 wins, Little Happy 4, and it just makes, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3 wins. No, 4. Yeah, I figure so. Suzuka. So 4 wins, 2 wins for Ghosts. These guys have just been putting on a show. They are definite favorites for a championship right now. Right now, Happy is the favorite to win the championship. He has to be with his dominance. Now, the thing about this league is that we know after this weekend or tonight's race, the points are going to reset for those that advanced. So you still have to stay on top of your game, and there are still quite a bit of races left that could pose a challenge to the drivers that advance, like Circuit de Spa, Le Mans Bugatti, Brands Hatch. These are all tracks that can be definitely challenging. And let's not forget that every last one of the races in the round of 8 are weather races. These are races that it could potentially rain. And as we've seen, not only in our league early in the season, but also as we've seen in the real world at COTA, rain definitely impacts a lot of aspects of racing that can get you in trouble. It could be unexpected for a driver that's doing really well. One thing about this league, it doesn't take kindly to DNFs, and we can imagine in a wet, one mistake by another driver or yourself could definitely tear up your car and be a reason why you don't advance. Honestly, put you behind the 8 ball. But Little Happy has had no issues to this point getting to victory lane, running up front almost seamlessly, being able to go from the back to the front in every race. So really, the championship is in his hands. For Ghost Train, however, Ghost Train's gonna really have to pick up catching up with Happy because of what he has been able to do on the racetrack. It's really gonna be tough for him. I think when it comes down to it, because these guys are going to the Final Four. So when it comes down to it, I think it's really going to be a challenge for Ghost to capture his first championship in the series. But I don't think impossible, and I think that Ghost has got a chip on his shoulder this season. Definite improvement from last season. He lost the championship last season by 1 point. That's going to give a chip on anybody's shoulder. And I think when we get there, it's going to be very interesting to see. Keep an eye on that battle as these drivers fight for a championship. It's going to be fireworks for sure in the last 4 races. I want to talk now about drivers on the bubble, your bubble drivers down here. Obviously, you got Hazen and Krasny who have not showed up and probably not going to show up this series. Only 8 advance, but you still have some drivers. You look, if this were your top 8 advancing right here, look at who you have. Here's your 5 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or your 6. I'm sorry. Here's your 6 right here. Paintbrush, Happy, West, Lawden, Sam Cooke, Ghost. And then you've got Beloved 7th, and Dream K is in 8th. Ignore that advanced that's beside his name because it didn't toggle when I changed the point standings. Next season, that won't be a problem. Promise. In any case, so look at what we have in this situation here. This is the battle you want to keep an eye out right here. Now, for Beloved, last week's race at Bernice was not good. He DNF'd out of that race. Was not what he needed. However, he's in an excellent spot right now to kind of control his own destiny. So what does he need to do at Monza? Come in, do not tear up the race car, finish the race. He'll be fine. He's been in this situation before. Last season, he had a shot to advance. His competitor actually DNF'd out of that race, but he does not want to repeat what happened at last season at Watkins Glen. This season, at this race tonight, at the Monza Short Circuit. So it's going to be imperative that he keeps himself right. Let's see in the chat. You wrecked him out. Don't lie, Sam. I did not wreck out my teammate, Beloved. I didn't wreck him out at Watkins Glen. And you can watch that race last season. He was actually a lap down and nowhere near the field. And I didn't wreck him out at Bernice Outs because I was ahead of him. He was involved in that pileup. So, I appreciate you, but yeah, no. I didn't wreck him out, nor would I wreck out my teammate. That wouldn't be good, wouldn't be good. I'm not going to do that. Not going to wreck out my teammate. No, that wasn't my teammate at Bernice. No, that was Paintbrush that I wrecked out. And I did apologize about that. Yeah, that was paint that I wrecked out. It wasn't beloved. Beloved it wrecked early, and I was ahead of him the entire time. So, what definitely wasn't beloved. In any case, for Dream K though, things are different. For Dream K, he's gonna first of all he's gonna have to put together a good race. He's gonna have to put together a good race. He's got to finish. Um, he's probably gonna need team points. I did not receive any. The league did not receive any notifications for team points for Dream K, so that's not an option. He's gonna have to put together a really good race. He's gonna finish ahead of Beloved. He's gonna need those points. Um, he can't have anything happen to him at all. He'll be able to advance if he can just hang on to that spot. However, we also want to talk about them below Skitty Brave, because Skitty Brave is in an excellent position to take away this final spot, as these two drivers, really three drivers, are on the bubble. Beloved, he's on the bubble, but it's going to take some catastrophic situation for him to lose out. But for Dream K and Skitty, if Skitty Brave shows up, these two drivers are going to be locked into a battle. Keep an eye on this battle between Dream K and Skitty Brave, because this is a battle for advancement. This is it, right here. Skitty Brave is right there. Of course, he didn't take any team points either, but keep an eye on these two, because this is where the battle is going to be at Monza. And really, a couple positions could make the difference here in points between one of them advancing and one of them being eliminated. So, this is going to be a really tight battle. Keep an eye on that. The bubble is hot right now between these two drivers, really three drivers. You want to throw Beloved in there, but again, for Beloved, it's going to take some catastrophic situation for him not to advance. So that's your bubble. You have Chris the God. He needs a win. It's must win for these last guys. It's a must win for Chris. It's a must win for Krasny. If Hazen shows up and wants to advance, it's a must win for him. Now, of these guys, I would say if Hazen showed up, he would be the one to have to beat. I think he could show up this one race and advance to the round of 8 and eliminate Skitty Brave and Dream K with a win. Um, and kicking one of those guys out because those spots have been taken with the win. I don't think that's going to happen though. Of the other drivers, can Chris come in and win this race? It's going to take a miracle. It's going to take, first of all, it's going to take his electronic issues being solved. It's going to take a lot of help from top drivers being eliminated, and then it's gonna take us, I think, going into overtime, and him having a top position, a first or a second, being lined up with several drivers that may be eliminated already and fighting for themselves. Gonna be really big challenge for him. So I don't know if he's gonna be able to accomplish that, but you know we're gonna have to see if he can, of course, um, get there and accomplish that. So we'll pay attention to what Chris can do. He's definitely on the way out, but things can happen. That's why we race. Things can definitely happen. We'll pay attention to that. Of course, your drivers that have already been eliminated that are battling. This is a battle too. First of all, let's remember that any of these drivers right here that not only just the ones that are eligible to race, but those that may get the call for hot seat. Does it matter if they raced? Let's say Hellcat or Bot, Dawson, Rope Voices, for any of these guys. If they get the call to race, or any of these guys that have been eliminated, does it matter? Did they show up, or are they just having fun? Yes, it matters. If any of these guys go out here and win, let's say Demon, since he's in the chat there, we'll pick on him a bit. Suppose Demon goes out there and wins this race. What does it mean for him? Well, number one, it means that going into Homestead, he's going to start fourth because he won a race. And going into Daytona, if there are no other winners other than Habby, Ghost, or Paint, Demon's going to start fourth on the grid at Daytona. Will this have any bearing on next season? Yes, it does. Because all your winners in next season, that obviously the only person that does not have to run the qualifying race is the person that wins the championship. But what does that mean for Demon if he wins? That means going into next season, he's going to have a top spot in the qualifying race. And depending on which qualifying heat race he chooses, number 1 or number 2, he could have the number 1 spot, the pole position on at that heat race. So that means he doesn't have to come from the back to the front. He can be right there in the front and have maximized his opportunity to get into next season. So does it matter? Yes, it matters for all of these guys. So right now, all these guys are positioning themselves to try to win. Now they're going to have some steep competition here in a bit because you're going to have all the drivers that could possibly be eliminated. Now they're going to be in the points position or in this battle for the top 16 along with the drivers that are already there. But it's going to be a tough situation to have to deal with, but it matters for these guys. So these guys still have something to race for. And we also want to remember that this season is the first season with team and team points as we get situated for the final team point battle at the end of the seeding or at the end of the season. It's all about seeding at this point. It's all about seeding right now, putting yourself in the best position. You can't do that if you're a hot seat. You can't do that if you're a hot seat. And so you want to be in the top 16 to be able to race and to be able to get your team in there so you can maximize your team points, have an opportunity to win, have fun, and then at the end when we have our team points battle at the end, have a chance to win the team points championship as a team and move forward. So it's a lot to have to think about and consider. If I'm these guys, also these guys that are down at the bottom that have teammates, I don't know if Woozy Emu, I don't remember whether Woozy Emu has a, yes he does, his teammates the 9 are back in black. But anyway, for Woozy Emu, for Field Kill, for Hellcat, for Bot, I think Bot's a single card team, but for Dawson, for Redneck, I'm using team points, trying to get in the top 16. Each week I'm eligible for the maximum amount of team points because I'm not running. If I didn't get a chance to run, I want team points. I want team points so that the next time there's a spot that is open, I want in. So get your chance to run into the top 16 and battle to have a shot to be up here rather than down here in the black in the I don't know if I'll get a chance to run this week spot, because you never know what can happen. You automatically have to reason or think there's going to always be two team, at least for right now, there's always going to be 2 team point spots available or 2 hot seat spots available because Krasny and Hazen have not shown up this entire round. So that's 2 already. So if you're Woozy Emu, if you're Field Kill, or at least right now, you know you're racing. Be prepared to race. But all of these guys should know that. Look at the 3-way tie right here between Philly, Hellcat, and Bot, all tied up with 10-20. Team points would definitely help. You get team points, and then you get a chance to race, and you might finish third. You maximize those points, and you shoot through the point standings very quickly. Something to keep your eye on there. So this is not over for these guys, and that's why I say anyone that wants to join the series, come on, because you can, if you use the resources that are there for you, you do get an opportunity to race. Let's go back up here for the top group. Who is your pick so far to win the championship, or let's say be in the final 4? Let's say who's your pick so far? Too early to tell, but who's your pick so far to win the championship? Let me know in the chat, and We can obviously debate about that or come up here in the booth and debate about it with me. Either one is cool. Um, Now let's take a look here, talk about real quickly so far the driver that has impressed me the most so far. And not gonna lie, uh, so far this guy right here, Lawden, we know him as Welp Dang, same person. Lawden has impressed me the most. He's come a long way. Many of you don't know Lawden um, like I do. I've known him for a long, long time. Back when I used to run KMR, very, very early KMR days, Lawden was the youngest driver in that league. He was 5 when he ran his first race in the series and finished his first race in the series at Indianapolis. It was his first start in the series. And then he started to become known as a road course warrior because he started to be really, really successful at the road courses. A real challenge to beat. He even has some road course wins and some restrictor plate wins. I even had him sub one time for one of my drivers, and he took that car to victory lane. He has been to the chase before, even in the modern era when we switched to the NASCAR heat. He was able to win a race to advance to the playoffs by winning a race at Vegas. In the last few laps, I think we had a white flag shootout, and he was able to win at Vegas, which was awesome for him. But it was hit and miss in the series, out of the series, um, as he got older. It's good to see him back. Last season was a bit of a struggle for him, I think, compared to this season. But when you look at the job he has done this season, he is 2 points out of the lead right now. And I think that is awesome compared to where he was last season to where he is this season. He is come a long way. And I think he's a sleeper pick. I think you have to choose him as a sleeper pick to possibly sneak into the final four, which would be a big upset to some drivers because there's only 4 drivers. There's a lot of good drivers in this up top 8. Um, you really have to look at what he's been able to do so far. Someone else I'm really impressed with, I think it's a tie, Beloved Car. Because last season around this time, Beloved Car was not even he wasn't in the conversation for you know points and moving forward and and advancing. He could not advance out of the round of 16, and really it was in the ball was in his court. It was his destiny. He could have advanced. He just simply had to finish the race. He wasn't able to do so. This season though, one DNF. Last season he DNF'd several times out of the races. This season, one DNF, and that came last week at Bernice. He has done an extremely good job of taking care of the race car. He is only 4 points out of fifth place. I mean, that says a lot. That says a whole lot about the type of season he has had. 4 points. He's 5 points out of fourth place. He has done a really good job of being consistent, taking care of the race car. And if we notice, he hasn't gone more than a couple laps down in any race this season. Um, that says a lot. It says that he's a little bit faster, he's a little bit more competitive, and that he is taken seriously this season. And that's what you want to see as the season progresses. Beloved Carr is also someone who's been around my league for a long, long time, whether it was KMR, early KMR days, to now what is BRL. Been around a long time, and it's nice to finally see him starting to surface with the type of runs that he used to be able to put together back in the day. So that's really, really good. Now, just like we've had or can talk about drivers that have improved and have been impressive. Let's talk about drivers that have been a disappointment so far this season. There's a couple that come to mind. Number one, um, number one is Back in Black. Disappointing season so far. It was eliminated. Now, injury had a lot to do with that. He did get injured. I had to spend some time away from the car. That being said, if you know you're racing and you're trying to stay relevant while you're out, generally you ask for a sub. They were talking about someone who's been around my league again for a really long time, someone who knows the old KMR. It's the same process. You get you a sub to get in there, run your car, get your points, so that you don't fall out of contention very easily. That wasn't done. Therefore, he's been eliminated. Now, even with his elimination, look where he is in points. 15th. We're talking about someone who was able to win the uh, the running of the heat race at Homestead Oval to get himself into the series. Someone who finished fourth at the Daytona 500. Um, and it's just been a downhill skid from there. Very disappointing season. I thought it would have been a lot better for him. Talk about someone else that was really, really impressive last season. Dawson, disappointing season. He's stuck in the hot seat way down there below. And I'm actually kind of shocked for two reasons. Number one, because last season he was in the Final Four, battling for a championship. Would have thought this season he would have wanted or he would have been a little more aggressive, worked a little bit harder to try to stay in that position. It just shows how difficult this league can be because he had a shot. It was one shot. He didn't get through Homestead that well. I don't think he made Homestead, so that automatically made him a hot seat. But what in that situation, what he needed to do was he needed to go and finish well or win the BRL 500 at Daytona. And he had a very upsetting finish. He was battling two other drivers for a hot seat, Little Habby and uh, who was the other? Skitty Brave. I want to say Skitty Brave was the other hot seat, but I might be mistaken there. But he was battling two hot seats, and he was the lowest finisher of the hot seats, and that's what kind of put him behind. Yes, Skitty Brave was the other hot seat. He finished 12th in the 500 behind both the 48 and the 46. And that's a disappointing start. It puts you behind the 8 ball immediately. Okay, well, then you've got Paintbrush who wins the championship. And here's where the surprise comes in, which is why I'm surprised. The second reason. They had team points. And if you're trying to get your driver, your teammate into the series, he was a hot seat. You don't know whether he's going to run again. You start leeching those team points because you know he's not going to run. He's eligible for the maximum amount. At that time, there weren't that many hot seats drivers that had logged in points. So it's an easy top 16. And Dawson's eligible to run. And who knows if that would have happened. Who knows how it would have played out with him advancing. Because we know, again, last season he was in the Final Four. So he has the opportunity and ability to advance. Very surprised and shocked at where he's been. It's got to be a disappointing season for him. One more person that I found that was very disappointing, the White Hammer, runs every week. Last season, obviously didn't advance that far, but it was his first season, and this was someone who's used to the older gen cars and tracks. We moved to the new gen. One thing I said in the off season in one of the broadcasts was that in order for him to advance deep into this series, it was going to take him being prepared for each week. Last season's schedule was mild compared to this one, with a lot of familiar tracks: Indianapolis Oval, the Indianapolis Road Course, Watkins Glen, Sonoma, Road America, tracks like that we're familiar with, and even some of the outside tracks that maybe the NASCAR series is not used to, stock car series is not used to, that we run, that we become quite accustomed or familiar with, like Airfield or tracks like that. And if you didn't get it done that season, then this season was going to be a challenge. And of course, we have seen that it has become indeed a challenge. He's really going to have to figure out how to turn that around. He's going to have to figure out how to turn that around. It's going to be extremely tough for him, too. Um, but right now, he's sitting 13th in points. And I'm going to tell you something right now. You think he's safe. But if these guys in this hot seat position, someone can get rolling at the rate that Hammer has been racing and tearing up cars. Um, I mean, from the start of the 500 to now, it's been a really disappointing and tough season for the 83. He's gonna have to figure something out, and maybe next season might want to consider having a teammate that can help with the team points, so that he can keep himself relevant in certain situations. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how next season goes. But right now, he's really going to have to try and do something to hold it together. He's at a 1094. You see Back in Black and Frosty right there. Um, and so then you look, Woozy Emu, Hellcat. These guys could definitely get it going. And if that happens, um, look out, Hammer, because they're gonna come. They're gonna come and get you. We have a question we can consider right here in the chat. How do the points work? Because I see I have a ton, but I'm not sure how the point system works. I am assuming you're referring to the team points system, not the regular point system. So I'm going to touch on the team point system. So basically, how it works is for those that are a dual team. So for example, we'll use CMR as an example, and I'm gonna roll down here and we'll take a look at the team points while we're discussing it. So let's talk about, since we're down here, let's talk about you. In the 24, you have 135 team points. This is how this works. This is how it's calculated. You cross the line. Let's see. I'm trying to find a race where you. Okay. So at COTA, you finished 12th. You had a lag. Lag gave you a last place finish. Last place was 12th. You have 42 points. So those, since you are a single car team, those 42 points are added by 15. So 42 plus 15. Those team points are then added into your overall total each week. Okay, so that's how you have 135. Now, if you DNF out of any race, you get 0 team points. If you are a single car team, 0, you get nothing. No added, you get 0 team points. Okay, so that's why the White Hammer, having raced every race, is below you by a point. Okay, so let's say you want to request team points. If you notice in the BRL update that goes on Tuesday night, I'll always announce, hey, the team points window is open if you want to request team points. If you ran the previous race, you can get 10, up to 10. If you did not run the previous race, hot seat or not, it doesn't matter. You can get up to 20 team points per week, as long as you got team points to use. So you put in the 20 team points, and then you go out there and race. Whatever you finish plus the team points you requested gives you your overall total. So if you finished 12th and you requested 20 team points because you didn't run the week before, you get 62 points. 62 points would put your overall, it would be like you finished sixth or fifth in that race. So it definitely helps. Of course, if you led a lap or even you win, it's a big bonus. Now, for those drivers that are in the top couple positions and points up here in the green, can they get team points? No. They don't qualify. They're way up there at the top. No. But for these in the yellow or those that are in the red, anyone outside of that, of course, they can get team points. But it's between the window of Tuesday and Friday night. After Friday night into Saturday, you cannot request team points at all. For those that are teammates, so back down here, the CMR, the 8 and the 1, our finishing is added together. So for Daytona Road Course, I finished fourth. My teammate finished sixth. So that's 66 plus 60. So 126 points. And that's added together and put in this pool here. So that's where the totals come from. If my teammate DNF'd and I finished, then it would just be my finishing points that would be added. There wouldn't be a bonus for individual finish or anything like that because you have a teammate. This also goes for drivers whose teammate is a hot seat. You have a teammate, so only your points that you finished are going to be added because you have a teammate. Speaking of, I hope that I answered your question, Demon. Speaking of team points, we have a new team in the series. We talked earlier about Skitty Brave, the 46, and we talked about Lawden Welpdang and the 55. They are now a team. These two drivers, with their team name being, hold on, and I will get it. With their team name being "6545 Racing." So when the points are updated, that team will be reflected. So what will happen is their individual team points will be added together to make a whole team, so that they don't lose the team points that they've earned individually. So a lot is going to take place at Monza tonight. We have a lot to look forward to. These drivers sitting up front, can one of them capitalize? Sam Cook, Lawden, West have not won a race this season. They didn't win a race last season. Can one of these guys get to victory lane and get one of those top starting spots for each of the rounds and put themselves in a better position to win a championship, gain some of that momentum? Will Habby continue to create an onslaught of wins, or will he share with his teammate Ghost? Can Paintbrush get a response after his 500 win? He has not seen victory lane. Will he get a response, or will he continue to be winless? Can these guys here, Skitty Brave, Beloved, Dream K, what type of battle will they have? And how many of these guys here, Chris, TMG, Jaren, how many of these guys are going to show up to race? Keep an eye on the series tonight as at 11:30 Eastern, as Zal Factor will lead the booth of the running of the Doug DeMoro 100 at Monza Short. And if anyone wants to know where I get these names from, these are individual YouTube stations, YouTube channels that I even would recommend you subscribe to. They are awesome YouTube channels for varying content for anything and everything you want to know in various situations or things you're looking for. If you're looking for how to fix cars, or how to tune older vehicles, cool barn finds, will it runs, Here's an excellent station, Junkyard Digs. Remember that? VIR North Circuit. If anyone wants to know how to fix your car, do it yourselves, where you can save a ton of money keeping your car out of the shop, taking care of it so it lasts as long as possible. You might want to tune into the Scotty Kilmer channel. He's been a mechanic for 50 years and knows what he's talking about. He has saved me money personally and has given me the knowledge to be able to share with other people. Subscribe to his channel. Awesome. If you want to know how to make some money doing exactly what we're doing right here, streaming, having fun on the channel, hey, you might want to tune in to Alpha Gaming, because Alpha Gaming has a lot of tips of how to make your stream a success, and how to be successful as a full-time streamer on either Twitch or YouTube. So something to think about with that. If you want just kind of interesting what ifs, what if there was an alternate universe? What would food be like there? What ideas would come from that? What are the best things on the market that you can buy that they say do certain things? If you want to tune into stuff like that, how about Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link? Subscribe to them, because they do that. They go to alternate universes, quote unquote, and kind of do the what if with the mythical chefs that prepare food for them as a what if. They come up with the ideas, the chefs cook them, and then they taste them. And I'm telling you, just as a warning, do not watch that if you are hungry, because you are only going to be hungrier. You're going to find yourself nibbling on your couch pillow because you're so hungry watching them eat this food and not share any with you whatsoever. But anyway, that's where the channels come from. So if you want to check out cool cars of the modern era, all of the features of those cars, what they can do, that are really, really cool. We're talking supercars, exotic cars, street cars, all kinds of cars. Check out Doug DeMoro. And he, as he does that, he has seen and looked at and sat in cars that are only our wildest dream to even be on the same street as. So take a look at that, because he's really, really cool. Shows you all of the features of that car from top to bottom, and then even drives them. All right, well, how did we get to here in points? How did we get here? Well, we're going to allow ourselves to take a look at some glimpses of some races throughout the season, and you'll get the opportunity to see just how we got to this point. Check this out. Okay. We're having some technical difficulties. So yeah, that would be what happens now, wouldn't it? Oh, buddy. How about this? How about we go on a little break? We'll be right back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Let's take a look at a few of the races so far to see how we've gotten here. Here's some clips.
Tight. Oh, we have some contact with Wesley Burr, blitz reporter, getting knocked back. Dawson is taking third place. We have Papers coming in very hot on the trails, making his way around. Sam Cook holding his way in that turn very well and defending very well from Dawson. It looks like he tried to make a little move there, but wasn't able to really commit to anything. We have Skinny Brave coming in from behind. He's coming in hot, really making his way through, using the whole track and a little bit of AstroTurf there to try to get wherever he can on this particular curve. And we come to the tight hairpin as Little Bibby is pulling away. Like it's almost the same thing every time. Somehow he's able to find that extra grip and make his way through. But it looks like we are coming through. We've lost a little bit of time here, and Dawson hitting the barrier, not being able to make his way through on there. Sam Cook coming out of there, even though he broke really early, almost wasn't able to make it. He was able to get out of that sticky situation. So now we have Paintbrush lining up in second place. Looks like we're under another caution. I think that accident with Wesley Ver actually did make quite a big difference, as he got bounced all over the place. A lot of craziness for the starting.
So, do you remember that one? Pretty tough race there, huh? If you're interested in seeing more of this race, be sure to check out the BRL series there on Stream Monster 27 live. So, yeah, be sure to check that out. Lots of fun there. Just awesome runs we had. You see Wes, who's had a great season so far and had been able to continue his run there. He would actually finish pretty decent at this track despite the trouble he went through first, and so would the 55. Yeah, sure, I can do that. So there you have it in the chat there. Stream Monster 27. It used to be 105 the drive. We changed up to Stream Monster 27 to kind of stay with the theme. Everything is a monster except for 105 the drive, just kind of out of the blue there. So we kind of streamlined it so that it will be um, good for everything in flow. Let's take a look at some more clips there that we have of some races here. As we continue to enjoy the series, let's take a look at some more races. Remember, we talked about Alpha Gaming and everything. Well, how about this race? Do we remember? Awesome, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that very much. How about this race? Take a look.
We're gonna have Paintbrush and Hellcat, Crazy and Labibi in the second. Dang, our Blitz reporter and Westerner in the third lane. Skinny Brave and looks like the Hammer are gonna hold the fourth lane. And let's get ready. And we're forming up. Let's go. We're back to racing. Green flags out. Let's see. Paintbrush is holding the lead. Let's see if we can hold on to it. We have Crazy coming up in through the line, making his way through. It looks like there might have been some contact, but it's coming straight through. There's a lot of contact coming through the back. We're starting to white out now. It's going to be really interesting because we're going to have to come through single file coming through this rhythm section, especially coming through on the left section of the track. A lot of action here coming through. We're going to switch over to second and third place. And while this action is, oh man, it's very tight racing. We have some bumping here, and Little Habibi's been knocked off the track. Just a little nudge coming through that section. This is through the special section of the West End Circuit here at COTA. Unprecedented. Normally Little Habibi is able to stay out of the situation. Look at he just got caught up in that damage there. We have Paintbrush pulling away with the Hammer coming through, and more contact coming through the corner as Dang has been pushed and pushed into the Hammer. Almost lost it and spun out, but he held himself together. Looks like the Hammer's going to hold things together now. Let's see how things watch up before Dang. Of course, he's holding on, trying to keep things tight, but look at Skinny Break coming through, and he comes into contact with the Hammer. Let's see how they race and hold this together here. Dang comes through on the inside to try to hold, but can't hold the top speed through. He's going to have to come up behind to try to drive and keep the speed that he has behind him. As things start to come up and crash up behind him, they're starting to collide together. And we're going to have some real good single file racing coming through here. Coming through this left turn and the first uphill turn here, as we have Hellcat coming their way in, coming through the inside, just pushing Dang on the outside here. Let's see how he holds through. He's holding through the rhythm section, but Hellcat is right on his heels. Let's see how well he can hold through coming through these S-turns here. Holding the line very well, coming through single files. Most of the cars are keeping themselves steady. We do have Redneck taking the line out. Redneck, in fact, taking the outside track to come back and meet with the rest of the track here. And we have Hellcat coming with a nice late braking technique to come in and close off Dang as he comes over and takes second place. We have Skinny Brave coming through Dang as well. Coming through from the outside here. Runs wide. Looks like he's going to miss his opportunity. And then he flies back up with the Hammer. Let's see if Hellcat can now hold on and stay with Paintbrush as he makes his way up. As Paintbrush is making his way through the field and creating quite a bit of separation here. Very interesting here. We also have a bit more of a clash up here. Let's go back towards with the Hammer. Check above him. We can see a little of the Skinny Brave making his way through with Dang and the Hellcat making their way up. Coming through the last corner here. And Skinny Brave looking like he's going to make his way to try to compete with Dang. Holding right behind him. Making his move, having that corner action speed, making his way around Dang. Now we're going to have to see what he does with them.
Yeah, what'd you think of that? How about bringing back memories? Of course, imagine if it was raining. Yeah, crazy race that would be. But it was a very fun race nonetheless. Little Happy would go to win that race there at Coda, and very very fun race. Now, while we have the Coda race up, and you see them under caution right now, um, here are my comments because I know many had comments about the Coda race last week and the real NASCAR circuit and how they ran in the rain and how crazy it was and how many felt that the conditions there were unsafe. And so I'm just gonna go out here and say this, and I put some comments there on Twitter, and just to kind of explain, what I mean when I said this. It wasn't, in my opinion, that it was unsafe. And here's why. Number one, because it's unsafe anyway. Racing is unsafe. You're going at extremely high speeds. It's going to be unsafe. There's only so much you're going to be able to do or accomplish as far as safety is concerned in a racing element because of the racing itself. NASCAR has come a very long way in safety. In my opinion, more than any other series has gone as far as safety is concerned. And they are to be applauded and commended for what they have been able to accomplish to keep the drivers safe. That being said, when you take a look around the motorsports world, you look at the GT cars, they race in the rain. Heavy rain, light rain, rain, thunder, lightning, they race. And you can see that. And they race at tracks with a lot more difficulty than this. I mean, when you go to Nürburgring and you see them running in the rain at Nürburgring, that track is is extremely more intricate and difficult than Coda, um, and they're able to accomplish that. Um, you look at the open wheel F1 cars; these are cars that don't even have a canopy over the top of them. The driver is literally having rain fall on him. I mean, it's an open bucket, cockpit. They race in the rain. We see them run in the rain. They've done it for years. You see motorcycles. Motorcycle driving can be extremely dangerous by itself just on the road because of the factor that you are a motorcycle. If you fall off that thing, you're praying that you don't get a serious injury or you die. And that's just casual accidents. Can you imagine going at speeds of 130, 140 and above on a motorcycle? And they run in the rain. I've seen them run in wet conditions. Um, so all the aforementioned series are able to do this. So what was the situation with NASCAR? Why are we seeing the issues crop up with NASCAR? Well, it's twofold. Now, this is my opinion. There's no fact. I don't have a fact sheet or analytics or anything like that. But this is just my opinion on this. And if you share my opinion, great. If you don't, great. It's an opinion. There's no right or wrong in this situation. And I obviously don't have any money to pitch in. But I will say this. Number one, NASCAR hardly ever in its history has ran in rain. Um, so this is a new element. It's like a fish out of water. These drivers are not used to this kind of element. Dirt, well, a lot of them came from dirt tracks. You can understand racing in dirt is not too far of a stretch in Bristol because a lot of the drivers came from dirt racing when they were younger. That's what they did. So, that element you can adapt to it quicker, but never rain. We remember some rain events like there were one in Mid Ohio, I believe, when it was raining and they tried to run in the rain. They slapped on rain tires. They ran, and that was several years ago. Carl Edwards was running in that race, and I believe he finished second in that race or something like that. The race was eventually called, but um, you know, they've come a long way to develop tires to be able to run these events. You think about in F1, they have three sets of tires. They have a slick, they have a intermediate, and then they have a wet, all rain tire. Why do they have that? Because they're prepared for each element and how that track is going to transform in each element and what they can do to get the maximum amount of speed in each of the elements. The series is prepared. Those drivers know that this is going to be a possibility that we can run in or wet. We're going to be prepared for this, and we're going to go out there and run. So they are prepared, and they can shift their mentality, their aggressiveness, and everything on based upon how the track is transforming as it begins to rain. The NASCAR series does not have that. They are not as prepared because it's something that's new to them. So, what are my thoughts about the COTA race? When you have these drivers going down the back straightaway, there's spray everywhere, you can't see them, the wrecks that happen. While we don't want to put our drivers in uh, extreme danger to where they could die, obviously that's not the goal or motive in racing. We also want to think about the fact that part of the safety of each of the drivers out there has to do with the drivers themselves and how they approach the conditions that they're in. So, um, if they are all collected together and they're on this turn one that you see here, there's a long straightaway as they prepare to head into turn one. You see how on your screen the 48 locks up the brakes, late braking going in. But if you're running in the rain, can you do that? So in your mind, you've got to shift gears. It turns into racing the track, not your competitors, not the other cars out there racing the track. And as things transform, maybe the track is dry in certain areas, you can catch speed. Well, then you do that. On a restart, may not be the best idea to go 10 or 20 wide in turn one, or down the fast corners side by side. Why? You're still trying to race and win, yes, but you're thinking about the safety of others, and you're thinking about the conditions that you're in, and you're thinking that if we do this, it's going to create havoc for all of us. You think about the conditions that they ran at COTA were not so different than the conditions they ran at the Roval and that they continue to run in. And I saw a podcast, and the person that talked on the podcast hit the nail on the head in this situation. That he said that Charlotte Roval does not have the speed that COTA has in the corners, which allowed them the better opportunity to run. There wasn't as much spray. You could see the cars clearly and able to keep them safe as a spotter. And I agree with that to a large percent, that track does have a lot to do with it. But so does driving style, and so does driving in the wet, and making sure that you take advantage of that. If I'm out there and I'm racing and we're on a restart, and as soon as the lap turns green, I'm pulling over. I'm letting people go. I'm getting space. I want to get as much space as I can. Let that thing get spread out, and then as things get spread out, then as I get comfortable with the current conditions, then I can pick drivers off one by one. I can pick them off one by one, and that way, instead of trying to make a 3 wide pass, you're making a 1 car pass in a situation that you're comfortable with. Um, and whenever NASCAR threw the caution to try to dry the track and everything, once it started raining again, once they threw the other caution, cautions cause the track to get wet, because the speed that these guys are running and they're racing like you see on your screen dries the track up in the groove that they're racing in. It dries it up. And so when you are uh, under caution, and the track is going to pull up, especially if it's a heavy rain. Am I saying to put these drivers in danger to the point that they could get hurt or injured? No. But have we seen injuries at dry conditions and beautiful night skies? Have we seen injuries? Yes. Have we seen injuries at Dega and Daytona? Yes. Does it stop them from going to those tracks or running in those conditions? Did they take the restrictor plates off the cars? No. So in this situation, I've always said NASCAR should run in the rain. It's possible. It's plausible. And every other series runs in the wet. It's going to take understanding on both the league and its drivers to be able to accomplish it. But you give the fans a show in any condition. And you put the driving back into the driver's hands, because now these guys have got to figure out, okay, I can't run wide open. What do I do? How do I still become competitive? How do I get this car home? And sometimes unfortunate accidents are going to occur in those situations. Yes, but also you're gonna have to figure out how to do that. My only thing would be, as far as lighting is concerned, um, lighting was an issue for that series. As far as that little red blinking light in the window, that part is going to be something NASCAR is going to have to figure out if they're going to continue to run in the wet in any track. They're going to have to figure out how to do that, because you're going to get condensation and fog inside of the cars, which may limit the visibility of those lights. So maybe considering putting them outside of the car, outside of that window, maybe a stick on adhesive in the back of that windshield to put that light on there, so that it won't fog up behind the windshield and you can't see it. And maybe putting a bigger light, putting a light strip instead of just that one blinking light. I know F1 does that with the one blinking light on the back, but some of your other cars, bigger cars, they have brake lights. Maybe considering, instead of tape lights, putting some actual brake lights on the car for wet weather events, so that it can be seen in those situations, and it won't just be something where you cannot see anything. Maybe something to consider. Maybe lights in the front, so that when you look back, a driver from behind can see and make a change. Maybe put uh, a headlight on the front somewhere, so that because in the wet you're not so much thinking about aerodynamics as opposed to safety. Safety has to be number one. So something to consider in those situations. But that's my stand on it. I just thought I would say that while Coda is on the screen, because I personally enjoy watching the race at Coda, even with the wrecks and stuff. And I know some of those drivers, a lot of those drivers were uncomfortable. Um, but you've grown to grow comfort, or have comfort in running at Talladega or Daytona. Then running in the rain, in the wet, you're gonna grow comfort in you're gonna develop a new skill. It's out of your comfort zone. You can get there. It's gonna take some time, some tuning, but it wasn't degradation of the tires, or the fact that the tires didn't have enough groove and it was too slick or anything like that. Those guys can handle it. There wasn't 10, 12, 14 cars every lap spinning off into the gravel somewhere. It was on, so it's doable. It's just gonna take time to get there. All right. Well, when we come back, um, we will take the time to play our new game. Will you survive? We'll be right back. Welcome back. And now it's time for our game. Will you Survive. Now, let's first talk about how this game works, and then we'll talk about those so far competitors in the game so far. All right, so this is how this game works. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing this wrong, but Sweesfee YouTube channel, where he posts a lot of iRacing wrecks, and things. Of course, other things he's into, a lot of series. He's a very talented racer, though. I mean, without question, very, very talented. And some of the series they've ran some alternate racetracks, and I mean, he's been able to hang tough in those tracks and in those series. Check him out on YouTube. It's spelled SW capital SEPHY, and we gave a tribute to him at Bernese Alps. That race was named after his YouTube channel, and a big shout out to him. I enjoy watching his races, so I used to sit back with Jaron Hazen, and we used to sit and talk about or watch those wrecks and everything, and we would actually put in drivers and their numbers in the KMR series and see if their cars would make it through. And I remember flashing back to that in my mind and thinking, that would actually be cool to actually see how that would happen today. And so we've got a couple clips from his upload here that we will take a look at, and there you see, of course, at the top. Be sure to subscribe to him. Big shout out to him. Please continue to post those funny streams. Some of the wrecks are just absolutely hilarious. In any case, this is how this works. You selected a car number, the 8. I have the 8. Demon has the 24. Twitch Monster's wife, 21, that is my wife if anyone's asking, has the 17, and then Habby, who just messaged me, has the 5. And if you guys are just tuning in and want to be in the next installment of Will You Survive, then please let me know, and we'll get you in. It's just something cool that I just thought of. And so if your car number survives, you get 20 points. We'll run 3 scenes, and then at the end of it, we'll tally up the points, and we'll see if you survive. If you do not survive, you get 5 points. And if you were not in the present, if your car number was not spotted during the wreck, then of course you will get 10 points per run or per scene. So here we go. We ready? It's time to play Will You Survive? Here is clip number 1. That is not clip number 1. Here is clip number 1. The 2, the 4, the 5, 92, the 19, the 10. Don't see the 8 so far. Nice save, but then the 2, it wants to be dumb. There they go. Yeah, you didn't survive. The 4 did not. Oh my God! Somebody hit hard. There's the 2. The 98 didn't survive. 23-13, nope. Yikes, the 8, that would be me. That would be me. Yes, of course I wouldn't survive. That looks about right. Yeah. All right, let's go back and look at that. Did you survive? At the last minute, I almost had it, but at the last minute, as you can see, that number 8 had to go plowing in there. Good job for me. So, I did not survive. Demon the 24. I don't know that I saw the 24. I know the 5 survived. The 98, he needs to be fired. Let's see. There's the 1. I don't know. That looks like the 4 there. Yeah. Oh, that's definitely the 4. Definitely the 4. the 19, 12 to 98. So the 4 did not survive that event. And of course, let's see any of our other numbers. The 5 survived. Congratulations. He survived that. The 4 we know was the one on his roof. The 2, let's see, the 17 and the 24 were not spotted. So they each receive 10 points. So right now the leader is Happy. Let's go on to the next chapter. We're at 5 flags. The 06 to 32. The 035 to 71. That is not how you do it. Oh! 12 did not survive. 35 did not survive. Let's get a closer look. This is actually a really fun track, though. I like 5 flags. 35 don't. So it doesn't look like too many of the cars were spotted here in that one. Let's see if we can get a closer look. 48. There you go. There's a good look. So everyone gets 10 points as none of the cars were spotted there. Everyone gets 10 points for round number 2. So Happy leads it with 30 points so far. Demon and Twitchmonster's wife tied, and then of course I would be last in my own game. Why? Because I'm Sam, and that's just how it works for me. Let's move on to our next chapter. Arca cars at Tona, and there they go. Oh, there. Oh, 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 oh. Well. Got our first sighting. The 5 of Happy is there. There's the 21. I don't know that the 24. I don't see the 24 in there. Let's see if we can get a better look. Die. Oh my God. I made it. You see that? The 8 at the bottom. I made it. I made it. We're on board. Let's see if we can get an on-board look. Up, up, and away he went. Oh, went up under that car. There's the 21. Alright, so let's see if we can get a good look there at the cars that were able to squeak past. The 5 looks like he made it through that wreck. Yes, he did, and so did the 8. Finally, I was able to make it through. So, yeah, it doesn't look like any other cars were spotted in this one. That we can see. I would have said that's a 24, but then it looks like a 19. There's a 3. No one chose 3. Yeah, that was a 19. Alright, so that's it for the first one, or for that chapter. I just don't want to be seen, apparently. Yeah, evidently not. I mean, evidently not. And you know, those as we get more and more people in to this, it's gonna, it's gonna be more competitive. But this trial run it's funny so far. All right, so let's go on to our next chapter, the truck series at Texas. Here we go. Oops, wrong button. Sorry about that. And you know, I mean, how about that? Technical difficulties abound there. Let's get back to it though. Alright, so far we see uh, the 2, the 20. That looks like the 18, the 22 in this one. Let's see what we come up with. Here we go. Oh, so easy to do at Texas too. Oh my goodness. And there's the 9, there's the 11. So we can see other cars involved there. There you see the spin. Does he survive? Oh, yes he does. Alright, so we got quite a few there. Obviously no one was seen in that one. That was uh, no one was seen in that one. So we'll move on to the next group. Let's make sure real quick that we didn't miss anything. The 22, the 7, the 2, 11. Yeah, so we didn't miss anything there. Everyone gets a pass. We move on to this. Ought to be interesting. Watkins Glen. Let's look and see what we can see from the top. Little Habby the 5 has some points to lose here. He's in this one. Let's see what else he can find. Of course, the 8, which I believe is right there. It looks like an 8 from here. The 20, the 32. It looks like 83. I'm looking from the top backwards. 29 looks like a 48 right there. Let's see what we can see. The 18's in this one. Will you survive? Find out. There's a 21. Abby ahead of. Oh, I can already tell what's about to happen. You can just tell it. Look at that. Yeah, we knew that was coming. And the 5 does. Oh! Almost didn't make it. Oh, I didn't make it. Oh. Oh. There's 31. There I go. You could tell that wouldn't be me. If it would be me, I'd have been on the brakes way earlier than that. Oh, God. He just didn't brake. He was just like, brakes? What are those? The 4. The 4 didn't make it. As you saw, and the 24 did not make it. I don't know if you saw that, but right there at the end, the 24 was there. Take a look again. The 24, I don't know if you saw that. The 24 right there. So, he didn't. 24 did not make it. 8 did not make it. The 10 was not, the 17 was not seen. Habby, by the skin of his teeth, makes it through that one. Wow. Wow. Okay. Moving on to the next chapter. And we're not going to do that. So that's the end. Right. So that's the end there. So let's tally up the points. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, and yeah, so Habby made it through with 70 points in the five. Twitchmonster's wife and Sam Cooke both with 40. Demon is the eliminated one with 35. Had he just not been seen that last race, he'd have had 40. It'd have been a three-way tie, but yeah, nope, he didn't make it. And that would be how it goes, right? Where it just doesn't work that way. Oh man, and he said he calls cheats on on Happy. I can't verify. I'm just saying, can't verify at all. But what I can verify is that we're headed to the final round of this game. The, will you survive? Demon in a 24, no need to look for him. Look for the numbers 8, 17, and 5 as we go into the next. He said this is abuse. Take it out on him. Take it out on him and during the race. Take it out on him during the race tonight. Oh boy. All right, so here we go. Transitioning now as we get started with Will You Survive? Final round. Talladega special, guys. Again, big shout out to Sweefy, who created this YouTube channel and I obviously created these clips. Um, um, uh, created these clips and is what we're using to have a lot of fun with. So thank you very much and appreciate your hard work in creating these YouTube videos and content for our viewing pleasure, man. Awesome, thank you. And as we get started, look for again the 8, the 17, the 5. Will they survive? There's the 8 leading the group. Oh, oh, oh! The 4 way out there and slams into the wall. Oh, so did the 666. 24 would have DNF'd anyway. So let's go back here to see exactly. I think that's not the 24 right there. I believe that car is the 24. One of those cars I know I saw. The 8 definitely survived that one though, and is going to take the early lead about darn time with 20 points. We did not see the 17, nor did we see the 5 in this one, so they are awarded 10 points apiece. He probably the disrespect. I'm just calling it like I see it, bruh. There's not a whole lot I could do. You know, I mean, come on. Help a brother out. Help a brother out. Okay. Here we go. Kevin World Trucks. Will you survive? And so just to set the stage again, we see the 8. This is more like it. Talladega, they already know. 8 car, restrictor plate king. He's always going to be up there. The 8, the 1 is present, but we're looking for, there's the 5 of Habby that's there. We don't see the 17. I see a 10. I see a 16. Don't see the 17, but we know the 5 is present. This could be big for him. Here we go. Let's do it. And there's the wreck. 8 is going to survive. 5 did not. 5 did not survive. Yikes. Big League 14 slides into it, gets involved. And there they go, beyond on the low side. We'll see if we can get a clip of the 17. Yes, 17 was there. 17 was present. Did she survive? No, she did not. She did not survive at all. I mean, that was bad. That's just gunning on in there kind of deal. So the 8 takes another big lead, 40 points. The first DNF by the 17, and of course a DNF again by the 5. So now they're behind the 8 ball in this situation. Now let's look at our next clip here. Talladega Special continues. Will you survive? That looks like the 9, maybe the 8 that's there. Well, let's run the clip and see if we can find the numbers. Here we go. And as they face up, let's see. Oh, you can already see the wreck forming, but nobody in this one, at least in this top group, belongs in our competition. Let's roll the clip and see if anyone blurs into view. Hartlick 2 gets by. Oh! Oh, goodness! Oh, goodness. Tell me it's not so. That wasn't me, was it? No, it doesn't look like. Oh, God. 14 rolling. I think that was me, actually, in that. Oh, Lord. There at the end. Let's see. That looks like an 8 to me. I don't think anyone else made it. I think that's an 8, though. Oh. Oh. First DNF for me. Did not survive. No one else was seen, thankfully. And we move on to the next group. And Xfinity, always fun. I've had my fun with those guys. Will I survive? Let's do it. On the straightaway, jockeying for a position. Gets turned. Let's see if we can see some numbers real quick. No, let's run it. Oh. Ooh. Well, we know he didn't survive. One more here, as you see. And I hate racing Talladega where you're trying to get past a, oh, wow. There's a 9 to 67. Let's go on board here and see if we see some more numbers. We might not have any of the numbers that we're looking for in this one. Way up there. That looked like the 24. Oh gosh, that looked like the 24. Anyway, everyone gets a pass on that one. Everyone gets a pass on that one. Sorry, 24. You just can't drive. I mean, you just get caught up in a lot of stuff. All right, so moving on to this clip. Obviously, we see these cars here. How they don't blow up their motor on the back stretch, just running wide open like that, I don't know. Let's see if we can see any of our cars here. No 8, no 5, no 17 that I can see. Let's roll the footage and see if any of them pop into view. Oh. Did not see them. Let's move on to our next clip here. We'll just go ahead and move on. Toughest thing to do at a restrictor plate, get down pit road. And as you can see, these Xfinity cars, pit road looking treacherous. Oh! I'd be mad. Yeah, I'd be mad. If that were me, I'd be mad. So 2 back-to-back where the cars were not present, tallying up the points. Everyone gets 10. We move forward. Here we go. Next clip is going to be ARCA cars. That ought to be fun. They got already. Let's look at our cars that we see. The 4, the 19, the 20, the 21, the 70, the 7, the 55, the 17. 17 is in this one. So Twistmonster's wife, will she survive? We don't see any other numbers. Let's go. Big points on the line. She could take a big stab at it. I don't know if you call that surviving. I mean, she made it through the wreck, but she did get some damage. Got the hood in her face. I don't know. Let's look at it again. Big points on the line here. And I'm gonna. Oh. Well, I'll tell you what. When that happens, you can't see nothing. I'm gonna say she didn't quite make it through that one. A big chance to take the lead there, and she didn't make it. I mean, as you see here, um, about right there at the bottom, you see she didn't quite get through there unscathed. So I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna say she makes it through because she didn't get spun out or get catastrophic damage. She was able to continue on. So I'm going to say she gets through. Everyone else, of course, gets a pass as unseen. And this could be the deciding factor here as we get close to the end of this game here. Let's look at the 87s. Will your tank survive? Let's find out. And there's the wreck, big wreck. 24, does he survive? He's got to make one. He's got to get through one. There's the 12, there's the 4 sliding to a stop. The 8 leading this thing. Does the 8 survive? Yes, the 8 survives. 17 does not. This is huge. The 17 does not. The 5 is not seen. The 8 survives. The 17 does not. Oh. The 5 does survive. That was the 5. You look back there, the 5 made it out on the outside. Let's look at that again. Flipping up under, watch this. The 5 come up on the high side. No, that's the 15. That's the 15. So the 5 was not seen in that one. Of course, he'll get the 10 points minimum. Twist Monster's wife did not make it through. 20 points to the 8. When the 8's the leader, it's a safe bet. He's going to get through. And of course, one more look at this wreck from the rear of the field. In that situation, you back it down, you pray. You pray again. You pray, and then you know. The 24 survived one. Look at this. How about this? Of course, again, big shout out. If you are racing iRacing and you want to submit your crash, now you have even further incentive to do just that. We'll be right back as we tally up the points right now. We'll be right back. We're back, guys. Sam Cooke in the 8 was able to win with a 105. Twist Monster's wife was second with an 80. 75 points goes to the 5. The early DNF really hurt him, and of course wasn't really seen since then. But that was fun looking at that. We a shout out to all involved. Thank you very much for the YouTube channel there that was able to provide us with some good entertainment as we watched it. Thanks very much. We want to thank everyone that was able to tune in, especially Demon Spirit, who was very active in the chat. If you uh, want to participate next week, please let me know. But this is not all for this channel today. Please tune in later on for the running of the Doug Demoro 100 at Monza. Is going to be an elimination race. There will be drivers that will no longer be in the battle, in the playoffs. They will be eliminated from points contention for a chance to win the championship. All on the line right now. Who's going to get into the round of 8? You'll find out tonight. Be sure to check out our midweek streams on Tuesday night, the BRL update show that will update the points, as well as the Thursday night show, which is when this was originally set to air, the Speed Report, where we'll talk about not only BRL things, but NASCAR things, sports things, and of course, we'll play our game, Will You Survive? If you're interested in participating, please let me know via the chat on Sam Cook 2728785. There on Xbox. Check me out on social media, Sam Cook and a bunch of numbers, and we can make that happen. As usual, we appreciate everyone tuning in. This is Sam Cook, signing out.